One strength of Excel VBA is that you can run a subroutine from within another subroutine. I'll tell you why that's so important in a moment, but first, I'll show you how to do it. Pressing Alt F11 to go into the Visual Basic Editor. This subroutine displays the city and state to which you owe a particular tax amount. This first subroutine is called Display Info, and there are two others, one called Display State and one called Display City. And you'll notice that those two keywords, Display State and Display City, appear here in the body of the main program. I'll just run it one time so you can see what it looks like. So we have F5. First, it displays the state, New York, and then the city of Albany, and then it indicates that it's reached the end of the display. So going back to the code, you see that it activates cell B7, and then it gets the value from the cell one column to the right. It assigns to the city variable the value in the cell two columns to the right, and then it runs display state. Display state displays a message box, which simply indicates the state. Now notice that because I'm calling a subroutine from within another subroutine, I have to use global variables. So string state is a global, and it can be seen by every subroutine within this module. Same thing for the city. It can be seen by any macro in this module. Now, why would you want to call a subroutine from within another subroutine? Well, first, creating multiple subroutines lets you break up your code into a main routine, which is supported by other subroutines. By using comments and subroutine calls, your main code module is much simpler and easier to comprehend. Using subroutine calls makes your code easier to maintain. Rather than digging through several pages of VBA code to find the subroutine you want to change, you can display that subroutine and make your changes quickly. Finally, using subroutine calls makes your code more portable. If you want to use the subroutine in another program or send it to a colleague to be included in another workbook, you can simply paste it into your workbook or into an email message and send it along. Creating subroutines that perform a specific duty makes your code manageable and portable. Rather than packing all of your code into a single procedure, which quickly becomes clunky and hard to manage, you can call a subroutine, have it perform its duties, and move on with the rest of your code.